Hi, what up, guys? I'ma just put on my screen 1 minute. Alright, hey, what up, guys? Welcome back to my barely uploading YouTube channel. Alright, so honestly, I'm so bored right now, so we're gonna just react to my favorite YouTuber of all time. This YouTuber is the GOAT. The GOAT. He's the GOAT. Alright, so you you probably don't. Some of you should know this man by now. And I want you to subscribe to his channel. You gotta. Alright, so just like
What?
I asked them what they were talking about, and they told me to check my TikTok, so I did. It was a clip of my bedroom. It was a clip of someone picking up my phone and recording the inside of my room.
what?
At that point, I heard a creaking.
Huh?
Then I heard a man's voice say,
Sorry, I've been watching this already. Give me a minute.
Hey, I'm Jay from the Cubs. Welcome back to another episode of reacting to these true scary story animations. You guys have wanted me to do this for a while now. I stopped it for a couple months because I felt like I was reacting to everything that was scary. Now there's a whole new library of scary content that we are going to dive into right now. If you guys cool with that, you down with that? Everybody get ready and buckle up, because here we go. Creepy guys stalked me through TikTok. That's why I don't have a TikTok, because I'm not trying to get those creepy guys on my ass.
I privated mine till September, y'all.
I like this guy with the deep voice. He always just puts that bass through the bottom of my balls.
Hey, let me listen.
we're messing around posting clips on TikTok. Then one of my friends started laughing, and I asked her what she was laughing at. She told me that guy behind us kept staring at me. When I turned around, it was some older guy just watching me.
Why would she be laughing about that? She's like, look at that guy with the bucket hat and the shades and the beard that it looks like it hasn't been washed in days. He's so funny watching you like that.
He had black sunglasses, a cap, an old Adidas tracksuit with scuffed up shoes, and had a disgusting looking beard. My friends thought it was hilarious, but I found it really weird. Then another one of my friends said, she thinks that guy lives on her street, about a few houses down from her.
Oh, hell no, boy.
She said that he actually follows her on TikTok. At that point, I quickly got my phone out to check if he was following me.
I just want
And he
to
was.
pause this for a minute.
I had to block.
Y'all, if that could not be me, like, I say, fuck you, I'ma move to the United K. I'ma move anywhere for a week. Honestly, I'm not gonna stay there and let.
him because he seemed a bit creepy.
Yeah, hiding
We
behind
went to
trees,
get
spying on little
McDonald's
girls.
before we went home.
Shoot.
And I received a message on TikTok from someone.
They have a menu like that
It
at
was
McDonald's?
that guy who had been following
Like, you just
us.
order what you know.
His name was Greg.
Why did you block
And he
me?
wrote,
Oh,
why did
he
you block
angry.
me?
You don't like
It
him
was
when
two
he's angry.
emojis. One was a crying face, and the other one was an angry face.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
He had actually created another account that day in the shopping center. I blocked that account as well, hoping
She
that
shouldn't
would
have
be
put a
the end of it.
profile picture. Just
I
be
didn't
low
mention
key.
it to my friends
You know?
this time
How do you
Have
know
those
it's
ghost
live?
accounts, whatever they're called, burner accounts.
That night, I was
really
up
wanna
late
see
and had
this,
Netflix on in the background as I was chatting with my friends on Facebook while scrolling through TikTok. I got up to use the bathroom, and when I returned, I had 3 messages from my friends, all saying the same thing. All were things like, who's in your room? And what's up with your last post?
What?
I asked them what they were talking about, and they told me to check my TikTok, so I did. It was a clip of my bedroom. It was a clip of someone picking up my phone and recording the inside of my room.
y'all guys.
At that point, I heard a creaking.
Huh?
Then I heard a man's voice say,
What in the bucket hat?
"Please don't scream." And turned to see my closet door.
My man's got
slightly
the
open.
Adidas
I started to
tracksuit with the
scream
bucket
when
hat.
The same guy who had been following us burst out of my closet and tried to cover my mouth.
Holy
Thank God I
crap.
screamed and it was enough for my parents to hear.
Damn.
They came upstairs and my dad tackled the guy.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah,
He was arrested.
A cop just happened to be downstairs?
Informed that
What was he
the
doing,
guy
sleeping
had
in the guest
straight up
room?
admitted to stalking and breaking and entering. One of my friends pointed out, if I go back and look at the post on TikTok,
My man just wanted to be in the
from when we were at
photos.
shopping center,
He ain't even trying to be
you can see
discreet.
Greg is in almost all.
Oh my dude! Stop! Stop that! No! I don't accept that! That
Restraining
is
order.
unacceptable.
Restraining
No way
order.
this man bought a lion suit, blew up 3 balloons, and just, oh man. Come on. Hey, stop playing with me, man.
Somewhere in the back.
Oh man, they're just doing that for the
I
laughs.
haven't heard what's going to happen to
That's
Greg.
ridiculoso.
I just hope he won't ever come near us again.
Is he really under the bed? Plot
Yes.
twist, he's actually the bed sheet.
Bruh.
Come on, man. This dude has a costume for everything. Next video of today's episode is called My Mom Disappeared and I Ate Strange Meat. I would say pause on that, but we gotta see what kind of meat he was eating that was so strange.
It all started 3 weeks ago. My mom disappeared. She was at home in the morning, nothing different. She hugged me, saying goodbye, wished me luck with school, and gave me a packed lunch. And when I got home that evening, she wasn't there. She didn't come back. So we called the police and all of the search was set up. The whole town came together and held a giant search party, lasting through the night, but
Really?
there was no sign of her at all.
I thought that they had to give you at least like 48 hours or 72 hours before they start looking. I've seen a lot of crime shows. Usually, if you're over the age of 18, you can disappear, and that's just that. Like, there's gonna be no police investigation,
No
no
one cares
nothing.
about you.
But apparently, this kid said his mom disappeared, and I guess they went looking right away. Okay.
She had just completely vanished.
Alabama, nigga.
The weeks since were hell for both me and my dad. Rumors started spreading through town, and particularly around the school, that my mom had been murdered. Dad took things a lot worse than I did. He was a carpenter, so it wasn't unusual behavior for him to disappear into the garage for a long time to work on a
Now
chair
we know
or
what happened.
table or something.
Just wait 1 minute, guys. This nigga.
Obviously left him for a guy with a better
Especially it was
job.
what he always did when he was stressed.
I'm not kidding.
I figured that's just how he was dealing with the grief. We barely spoke over the next couple weeks. He was locked in there from sunrise to midnight, and we might bump into each other at one point, but he'd just say good night and went to bed.
Good night, son. I'm gonna go
Sure,
jerk
it
off
was
to
a
some
bit
internet
weird.
stuff.
But I understood that he was going through a lot. But the longer he spent in there, the less I was sure he was doing woodwork. There were large
Woodwork?
bottles of bleach popping up in our bins, and Dad barely took any break. One night, I had waited for him to go to sleep, and I crept down to try to open the door. But it was locked tight, and Dad always had the key.
Oh yeah, it was locked butthole tight.
But today, when I came home from
Snatch
school,
that key, boy.
he was in the kitchen.
Ninja that
freshly
shit.
shaved, showered, had a rested face. He was totally different from what he'd been for the last couple of weeks. He was cooking. My dad used to love grilling, and his steaks were always amazingly delicious.
Oh,
So it was a
no.
nice change since I fed myself only pot noodles and soup for a few weeks. He set down 2 of the biggest, bloodiest steaks I had ever seen in my life.
God
But
damn.
it looked kind of different. Not bad, but just different.
What are those thighs?
Dad tucked into
Mom's
his steak
thighs?
straight away, and I did too. It was a bit tough to chew, but the seasoning and flavors tasted just as good as the rest of the steaks were.
Tasted just as good as mom.
We
I
had
mean
finished
mom's.
pretty soon, and I was feeling full and satisfied. Then Dad said something I can't stop thinking about.
What's up?
I doubt they'll ever find her body. His
There's no way
voice
he said
didn't
that.
sound sad or depressed.
Why would he incriminate
I didn't
himself
say
like that,
anything.
kinda?
Just stared at it. Hearing what he said sent shivers down my spine. Then I thought of the steaks. The late nights in the garage, hundreds of bleach bottles.
You're just
And my dad's weird
overthinking.
behavior.
No,
Did
no,
he
that's
feed
definitely
me
the
her
mom.
body?
That's definitely the mom. That was
Or
a
am I
thick
just
ass steak.
overthinking it? What do I do?
That's mom beef right there. 100% woman.
Yeah.
Moral of the story: don't eat your mom. Moral of the story: cannibalism is wrong, and if your mother goes missing, become vegan. I'm gonna be honest. The part where the whole town.
But I have been dislocating, so if you see me random places, it's because my family cannot shut up. and leave me alone.
It's not. That was so corny. That's some after-school special BS. When is part 2? I killed my father and my mom came back. Last video of today's episode is called The Roommate. Let's check it out.
Looking for a new roommate is always a daunting task. Even though you interview and take the time to get to know that person, you don't truly find out who they are until you start living with them.
I agree. I've had a
I began
roommate
searching
before.
for a roommate after I decided
But he was
to leave
cool
my
as hell,
current
so,
residency.
I trusted him.
I was contacted a
If I
couple
got
of
a
hours
roommate,
after placing
the
an
bread don't know
ad
how
on
to
the
cook,
Facebook
or else we
Marketplace.
will starve to
The
death.
message read,
Hey Chris, I'll be moving out of my current apartment this August, and I'm looking to room with someone new, as my roommates are moving to California this year. I'm 27 and I'm currently going to school. When I'm not at school, I enjoy hiking and watching movies. I also apprentice at a taxidermy shop on the days I don't have class.
Wait. She apprentices at a taxidermy shop on the days I don't have class? Red flag.
It's always been a fun hobby of mine. Anyway, I'm looking forward to hearing back from you. Have a great day.
And I know people who do taxidermy are going to say something to me in the
First and
comments.
most
I already
obvious
smell it.
reaction after reading the message was to check her profile. She was of medium height, had long, messy blonde hair and green eyes.
Oh, that's hot.
In her profile picture, I saw her standing with a man and a woman shoulder to shoulder.
So?
Each adorned
That's
goofy
not weird.
grins and held up peace signs. Under the photo, the caption read, "Love my roommates." I smiled to myself and decided to send her a message back.
What? Why is that person
So
standing out the
looked down
window?
on us as we hoisted
She
various
listening on this
objects to the
conversation?
second floor of our new apartment. It took us a couple days to get everything out of the moving trucks and into our new place.
Bitch made.
But as soon as we did, a wave of relief washed over our sweat-drenched and sore bodies. After a couple more hours of rearranging, we each grabbed a beer from the fridge and sat on the porch.
Duh.
Beer.
We reminisced about old 90s cartoons and what video games we obsessed over as kids. And as the sun started to set, I truly felt relaxed and confident that things were going to work out.
Well, girl, that's
A week
probably
later,
her.
I started a new job for a construction company that was owned by a good friend of mine. As I was getting ready, I heard the front door swing open. I walked into the living room to see Lunaire and her friend David sliding in a large box. "What you got there?" I asked. Through a strained grunt, she replied,
I bought a freezer to store some of the animals I'm planning on using in my taxidermy work.
I told you the taxidermy
alright.
thing was coming back to bite
I was
from the
obviously
dead.
hesitant at first, as there was no mention of this happening in the first place, but I eventually accepted and returned to my room to continue getting ready for work.
I know, because if you say that's kind of weird that you're going to do your taxidermy stuff inside the room, you're going to offend her, and then maybe she's going to taxidermy you.
Came home at around 9 p.m. after having a couple of beers with friends and noticed that the freezer was nestled snugly in the lower part of the pantry.
Oh, boy.
A low hum could be heard reverberating off of the inner walls.
That's annoying.
I was curious to see what was inside, but didn't want to intrude on Lunaire's business.
Just do
So I
it.
went into my room
Be a
and changed
freaking
into
man
more comfortable
about it.
clothing.
Ah,
Changing, I came back out into the kitchen and started making a sandwich.
what's that red thing on the ground?
I opened the fridge
That
and
little red
grabbed what I
squiggly
needed.
shit.
As I turned around, I stubbed my toe on the edge of the island countertop and let out a long, exasperated grunt.
Ooh, that toe stubbing.
Through my
We
frustration,
all been there.
I slammed the fridge door shut and checked my toe to see if there was any bleeding. As I raised my head back up, I was greeted by a shadowy figure.
59 times.
Lunaire was standing in the doorway leading to her room. The darkness behind her almost seemed to envelop her.
She's like, what are you
Is
doing?
everything okay?
She said in a deadpan tone,
Dumber.
"Shit, yeah, I'm sorry. I just slammed my toe into the corner of the countertop as I was making a sandwich. I hope I didn't wake you,"
It's fine.
she said in the same deflated tone as before.
Scary ass?
She then turned around and walked back into the darkness
The
of her room.
hell? I would have been looking for a new roommate right after that.
So I quietly made my sandwich and retreated back to my room as well, only hearing the low hum from the
Okay, that's
freezer
not
as I
what
closed my door. I had the next day off, so I was able to sleep in a little longer than usual. When I finally emerged from my room, I walked into the kitchen to make breakfast. As I opened the refrigerator, I noticed that the light wasn't turning on and there was a lack of cold air escaping from inside.
She turned off the fridge?
I turned around and flipped the light switch to confirm my suspicion. Sure enough, the power was out.
Oh, because the freezer is taking up so
I
much
muttered under my
electricity.
I walked over
Oh,
to
I'm a
Lunaire's room and
detective.
knocked on her door to tell her about the power outage if she didn't already know. But there was no answer.
Get out of my room, I'm playing
I then remembered
Minecraft!
that she had classes that day and probably wasn't home. I walked back to the kitchen and past the pantry. As I did, I slipped on the floor but was able to catch myself on the countertop. What the? I angrily exclaimed as I looked down at the floor, trying to figure out what I had slipped on. It was blood. It had started to leak from the corner of the freezer and pool onto the floor.
It's probably a rat or whatever you taxidermy, like a bunny.
The viscous liquid, but then I noticed that it had a padlock attached to it.
Break that shit.
I don't remember seeing that
With your
before.
cold bare hands.
I ran out to my car and grabbed my toolbox from the back seat.
Yeah.
I approached the freezer and set my tools down on the nearby countertop. I then pulled out a small pair of bolt cutters and snapped through the metal of the padlock. It fell to the ground with a large thud. I creaked open the top of the freezer and was greeted with a putrid stench that permeated my nostrils. I quickly pinched my nose and walked away gagging in response. I guess I should have realized that was gonna happen, I muttered to myself in between gags. After gaining my composure, I grabbed some
It's
gloves
not what
from
we
the
think
sink
it
and
is.
started
It's an
taking
animal.
inventory.
It's a human.
I could see a couple of dead birds and plastic bags wedged into the corners of the freezer. I took each bag out and set them in the trash can nearby.
Wouldn't
That's when I
Lunaire be
noticed
mad
that
at
the
you?
blood was
That's like
coming
her
from
hobby.
the corner of the larger black
Uh-oh.
bag. I don't know why, but I decided to open the top of the bag and peer inside.
It's the friend that
I was
helped her.
greeted by large, milky white eyes, a swollen black tongue surrounded by cracked and bloated lips, and the matted hair of a human head.
Was that her roommate?
I swiftly dropped the bag and fell backwards onto the floor.
The one that was with her in the
breathing
picture?
had ceased to exist, and I grabbed the trash can next to me and expelled my disgust into it. I then ran out the door, got into my car, and called the police.
Good.
As I sat in the interrogation room with a blanket over my shoulders, I couldn't help but think about the face I'd seen. It looked so familiar.
It was the roommate, the girl.
That's when it finally hit me. I pulled out my phone and looked at Lunaire's profile picture.
Yup.
It was her old roommate.
Told you, I'm a
The one she
detective,
said
guys.
was
I'm
moving
on
to
the case.
California.
Problem solved. Hire
When the
me.
detective entered the room, she started the questioning process, asking me if I started noticing any weird behavioral occurrences around the apartment.
Bro, she
Yeah,
just moved
I
in.
stubbed my toe the other day, and she creepily stood in the doorway. It seemed like she was pissed, but for some reason I had a strange feeling like she was concerned about something. That's when I connected the dots. She didn't come out into the kitchen because she heard me stub my toe. She came out into the kitchen because she thought I slammed the freezer instead of the fridge.
Yup.
A cold sweat started to form on my forehead as my surroundings.
Camera.
I could hear a low whine slowly starting to cover up the words of concern from the detective. As my vision started to clear, I could see another officer enter the room and whisper something into her ear.
I know exactly what he whispered. He said, "Wanna eat my ass after you interrogate this asshole?"
As he handed her a piece of paper. Do you have somewhere you could stay at?
See, she wants to wrap up this interview because of what that guy said.
She asked.
I can't make this up.
I mean, I was planning on staying with my parents. They live about 30 minutes outside of town. Okay, she paused. Listen, I don't want to worry you, but we found this picture inside of your apartment. She slid the piece of paper across the table,
It's
and I
him
immediately
sleeping.
felt like someone kicked me in the chest. The head of Lunaire's
Whoa!
other roommate sat on the chair. In the background, scrawled on the wall in blood, read, "Love my roommates. All of them."
It's a Sunday.
Why would she do that to herself? Why would she just admit that she's the killer? Obviously, she's the third roommate, so if those two people are dead, bam! We know who the killer is because it says love my roommates. Alright guys, but that's gonna do it for this episode of reacting to these true scary story animations. If you guys would like me to react to any more scary animations on the internet, make sure you guys give this video one big fat like. And tell a friend today that Jay from the Cub Scouts is dead. Dude!
Subscribe to him right now. And me. Couldn't just.
Hey, I'm Jay from the Cub Scouts. Welcome back to another episode of me reacting to scary animations, sharing my own personal stories, and just having, conversation with you guys in the comments and stuff like that. I have no idea what to call this series, but it's a good time. The first episode did really well. You guys talked about your own experiences a lot. You guys wanted to see more. We are going to check out 1C Entertainment videos again. Link to his channel will be in the description box below. But we're going to check out a few good ones in today's episode. So if you guys cool with that and you're down with that, everybody get ready and buckle up, because here we go. The first video for today's episode is called The Man in My Brother's Closet. I have no personal stories about this, first of all, because I don't have a brother, and I also don't have a closet. Let's check this video out. And I know I'm stupid.
This happened 2 months ago in January of 2019.
Oh, wow. This was recent.
Went out to a party. They told me they wouldn't be back until at least 3 a.m. in the morning because the party was supposed to start at 8 p.m.
Hold on, guys. So the party starts at 8 p.m. They're not going to be home till 3 a.m. Two parents are about to get they fucky on.
And the party was going to be in New Jersey.
Okay.
We live in Connecticut, so it takes a while to get there and back.
Okay.
They told me to watch my 10-year-old brother and expected me to be responsible because I'm 15 years old.
Whoa, guys, calm down. He's 15 years old. He can handle the brother.
When they left, we watched movies all night while eating a bunch of popcorn.
Awesome. Good brother.
It was around 11:30, and we just finished watching Infinity War. I told my brother to brush his teeth and go to bed. I stayed up later than him to watch the movie Logan. The movie ended, and it was around 2 in the morning.
Dang, dude.
I was getting
Go to
ready for
sleep.
bed when my brother came down the stairs. I asked him what he was still doing up, and he said the boogeyman was in his closet and wanted to touch him. I looked at him in confusion. My brother isn't the type of kid to pull pranks or joke around. He wanted me to check it out.
Oh, dude, that's already giving me the heebie-jeebies, because he even said his brother isn't the type to joke around. Like, I have friends like that, ones who tell me stuff and I'm like, get out of here, man. And I have other friends that are more serious, and when they tell me something, I'm like, oh, for real?
I said, fine, and started saying he probably just heard a house noise. He said he heard a noise coming from his closet, and when he checked inside, the boogeyman was there and said he wanted to touch him.
Why did that scare me?
We went inside his room. I turned on the light and we went to the closet door.
No, don't do it, my guys.
I opened it, and what I saw made me seriously angry. There was a tall, scruffy-looking man with long, black, greasy hair.
What the heck? I did not expect that. I thought he was going to be angry because he found his brother's dildo or something, but there was actually a scruffy man inside of his closet. Why would that make him angry? I would have shat my shorts.
He looked as if he was in his mid-40s and was fairly built. I was pissed off when I saw this creep watching my 10-year-old brother sleep, and I figured out what my brother meant when he said the boogeyman wanted to touch him.
Wait, this kid was mad? This 15-year-old has bigger balls than the grownest men I've ever met. Like, what? He was mad that this guy, tongue out and everything, looked like he got a spider in his nose. This man was in his closet, and instead of being scared for his life, he was mad. Like, he was ready to go John Wick on that ass.
I was so pissed off. I punched his throat. He dropped to the floor, gasping for air, but I stepped on his face as hard as I could at least 6 times.
Okay, and then this kid woke up, right? And then after he did that, he woke up, right? From watching Logan on the couch. Ain't no way you stomping out a grown man. Ain't no way you're making him bleed with those crusty 15-year-old toes. Get out of here, buddy.
He was covered in blood and was having trouble breathing. I grabbed my brother and ran into the bathroom, locking the door and calling the cops. Then I called my parents. My parents freaked out. In about 10 minutes, the cops showed up and searched the bedroom.
No way.
He wasn't in there. They searched the house. He wasn't anywhere to be found. I gave them a good description of his appearance, and an officer even stayed at our house until sunrise.
Why is this so hard to believe?
If my brother never came downstairs to tell me what happened, then I fear the worst could have happened to him. And I'm extremely thankful that didn't happen.
Ooh, why does the tongue gotta be out like that, though? You ain't Michael Jordan. Put that tongue back in. Next video of today's episode.
That's enough for you guys, because I want to scare y'all. So bye. But before we leave this, I want to tell you a story of my own. One time, like, I was in my school, right? And, like, I had this close friend. She was in grade 6, I think, or grade 5 at the time. I don't really remember. It was a long time. So now I said, I want to go with you. Like, she was like, she goes somewhere for her. I was like, I want to come with you. So she took me along with her. And then like, this is a crazy lady who called herself her mom, right? And I think she called herself her mom. She said that she knows me. But before time, my parents showed up. And the police showed up as well. Because I'm about like so young. I just came into the school. Like, and like, it was like so quick I could barely apprehend. Like, I thought that was like a stage kidnapping. I didn't know what would happen if my parents hadn't gotten there sooner. Like, I could still be with them right now in the basement or something. I'm so thankful. Honestly, I know Taekwondo. And I know how to fight pretty good. My teeth are sharp. Like, you can't mess with me. Like, nigga. I literally can't fight anymore because they'll expel me. Suspension too. But yeah, moral of my story now: never go with anyone you don't know. Alright, bye. Remember, y'all are beautiful. And I barely post on this channel.